Joe would not permit that, since especially we are in the great county of Levy County today. We've had a history of tremendous judges in this county. And the Levy County judges that I have known of, either by reputation or personally, W.O. Beecham, and then Judge Joe Smith, and the late Judge Timothy Browning, whose wife Georgia is with us today. We're very pleased to have her. Men of integrity, men who carried their responsibilities and kept their oath to the community, and who, to me, are the epitome of what judges should be in general, but particularly county judges in the relationship with the community. And the fact that they are beloved by the community, and in return love the people that they serve. And so it is certainly in great footsteps that Judge Bustamante now is going to be following. We are here today for a number of reasons: to bear witness to Judge Bustamante making a solemn promise to the citizens of Levy County and the great state of Florida. We're also here to be reminded, those of us who have taken similar oaths, of the promise that we also have made and our own responsibility to the citizens that we have promised to serve. And we're here in this assembly as a visible reminder that the sum is far greater than any individual part, and we should always appreciate that. It's my privilege as the chief judge to preside over the proceedings, and I am very grateful for the ability to do that for Judge Bustamante. But I have learned in my years of public speaking that while eloquence is appreciated, brevity is applauded, and people greatly appreciate that. So I am going to move on because we have some really fine speakers that are going to address us today. And I, at this time, would like to turn to the administration of the oath of office by the Honorable William E. Davis, 8th Judicial Circuit Judge.
Well, I'm neither eloquent, but I can be brief, so I will do my best. Before I turn this over and go through the formal swearing in, I have to say a few words for the judge who's about to take this oath. Before I do it, all the county judges, would you please raise your hand so you can be recognized? All the county judges all over. I want to do a real big shout out to all the county judges, because they are the people's court. And that's what you're going to be doing. And you're going to be the face of the judiciary for the vast majority of people that enter into the judicial system. And that's a very, very important responsibility. For those persons, as everybody will tell you, that's the most important thing going on in their life, whether it be a criminal case, a landlord-tenant action, small claims action. It's everything to them. And how they're treated is the perception they're going to have of our judicial system. And I just want to applaud everybody here that do that day in and day out, and to the numbers of people that do that. I want to talk a little bit about the individuals about to take this oath. I've known Judge Bustamante for many years. He was assigned as the prosecutor in Bradford County. We've had many trials together, and a couple that were death penalty cases. And I can tell you, the true character of any person, especially a prosecutor, is when they are opposed by a pro se defendant, especially in a death penalty case. And I can tell you, everybody should be proud of this judge right here. He was respectful, professional. At all times, he was fair to the defendant. And it's because of him, I think it made my job a lot easier. And what I saw in this person right here is somebody who has a lot of integrity and a lot of professionalism. And the governor got this one right. I do also want to do one last shout out to all the applicants that applied for the same position. We're very fortunate in this circuit to have so many well-qualified attorneys and lawyers. And I'm sure the committee had a tough time deciding who were they going to send up. But I'm glad they sent you up, Lewis, because I know that you're going to be an excellent judge for the Levy County citizens. So you ready to do it? Come on up. We're going to need your help. Ms. Bustamante. Should we get the picture?
Okay.
Raise your right hand. It's going to be tough. That's his first test. He passed, by the way. Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support, protect, and defend.
Let's go one line at a time.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States
the Constitution and government of the United States
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified to hold office
that I'm duly qualified to hold office
under the Constitution of the state,
under the Constitution of the state,
and that I will well and faithfully perform
and that I will well and faithfully perform
the duties of county court judge
the duties of county court judge
on which I'm about to enter.
for which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we will have some remarks, first by the Honorable William P. Cervone, former state attorney with the 8th Judicial Circuit.
Thank you, Judge Mosley, members of the judiciary, to the other elected and appointed officials for Levy County and elsewhere who are here. Of course, Judge Bustamante, your wife, your family, other guests. I am very grateful to have the opportunity to be a part of this celebration. Before I begin, I do think I should mention that I wear this hat for medical reasons related to some treatment I've been undergoing, not out of any sort of disrespect for the court, our flag, our country, or to make some sort of bizarre fashion statement. And I thank you, Judge, and everyone else for your indulgence with that. As you can see, Judge Bustamante, I've made a few notes to make sure that I covered everything that needs to be said this afternoon. And lest anyone be concerned, I'm fairly certain that I can finish my comments in the time that you suggested that I limit myself to. I should be finished in about 45 minutes, no more than an hour. That said, on occasion over the years, I've had the opportunity to speak at other investitures, but never before in Levy County. And that, plus my longstanding personal and professional relationship with Judge Bustamante, makes this a very special occasion for me. With no respect to any of the other 5 counties in our circuit, some of the judges who are here from those counties, or anyone in them, Levy County is a distinct and different part of the circuit than all of the rest of them. Maybe it's as simple as the geography of Levy County that gives us our only coastal access in the circuit, and the usually very calming nature of the Gulf waters that lap up upon our shore. Maybe it's the lack of any really large penal institution in the county, which all of our other counties have, and the sometimes very jarring impact that those institutions can have on the populations in those counties. Whatever it is, Levy County is different. Levy County has always had a special place in my mind and heart. In my earliest days, and a few of you go back long enough to know this, in my earliest days as a prosecutor, I was assigned here by then State Attorney Gene Whitworth to handle juvenile court matters. And I'm going to reluctantly admit that that was in the 1970s. So we're going back a long time here. I'd be welcomed when I got to the courthouse to come into the back of the clerk's office and sit down with the lady who was, as a deputy clerk, assigned to handle juvenile court matters in the county. And she would sit down very patiently with me, a brand new lawyer at the time, and in essence, run over the docket and tell me exactly what to do so that I did not screw anything up for myself or anybody else. I didn't realize it at the time. I do now. She was actually very much running the show, which I appreciate now more than I knew I should have appreciated then. Levy County, Judge, is the kind of place that is full of not just kind people like that, but also people who value tradition and who especially value loyalty. To reminisce again, in the early days of my career here, there was something called Ishii Day, which some here will remember. That was the predecessor to today's Law Day celebration that we have for both Levy and primarily Gilchrist County. At the time, it was a classic good old boys night out. Now it is a multi-county event that Levy County is a proud participant of, and Judge, that, by the way, you'll be able to financially support, as I did when I was state attorney. That changed, as have many other things in the county and our whole environment. What hasn't changed is the people of Levy County. From Chiefland to Williston, from Cedar Key to Inglis, from here in Bronson to the borderline with Alachua County, they are what the saying salt of the earth means. As you get to know them, and they you, I am sure that you'll discover this just as I did. Why am I bringing these things up now? It's because what I learned early on about Levy County is what you will now learn, and I'm sure in your couple of months on the bench already have started to learn. I'm positive you've already discovered it. To borrow another phrase that our late friend and your predecessor, Judge Browning, would frequently use, Levy County is God's country, and its people are God's people, and they are proud to say so. Judge Bustamante, you and I have known each other for many, many years. And in those years, I've always known you to be pragmatic, reasonable, a good listener, and a problem solver. These are not coincidentally traits that, at least in my mind, are shared by the best of judges amongst us. One of the few privileges granted to a speaker at a judicial investiture like this is the opportunity to give perhaps unsolicited advice to a new judge. And accordingly, I urge you to bring those same traits that you demonstrated when you worked for me as a prosecutor for so many years, when you worked in other prosecutorial assignments for so many years. I urge you to bring those same traits to your responsibilities as a Levy County Court judge. I think I might be remiss if I did not point out that you are now the third running prosecutor from our office who has become the Levy County Court judge. And I know that you will follow in the great tradition that Judge Smith and Judge Browning did. You can also, by the way, in your performance as a judge, confirm what I've already told my many friends in Levy County, that being that they will come to respect you as they come to know you and see you demonstrate these same traits in adjudicating the matters that will come before you in the county court. And so, despite the fact I still have about 40 minutes left of the time that you gave, I close by saying again, congratulations to you. And thank you for being who you are as a person, who you are as an attorney, for that is what will make you the judge that you will become, and that I am certain will have you stand apart both in Levy County and among the rest of the judiciary. Welcome to a place that I call home, and that I hope you will also learn to call home. Thank you.
At this time, we will have remarks by Huntley Johnson, Esquire. Is she coming up now? And Amy Osteryoung, Esquire.
Good afternoon. I am Amy Osteryoung, and this is my law partner, Huntley Johnson. We are honored today to speak at Luis's investiture. He informed both of us.
Hold it. Did you say Huntley Johnson?
I did.
I want to talk about Huntley Johnson for a minute. I woke up this morning and I was a little unsure who I wanted to be for the day. My usual first and favorite choice is straight up Huntley Johnson. This morning, my second choice was my favorite baseball player, Jackie Robinson. I thought about reverting and becoming a Marine for a day, but then I settled on being Luis Bustamante. So that you're not cheating. For a day. I had 100 of these made up 3 years ago for a surprise party for Luis. See me after, I still have 96 of them. It was a little slow.
Let me try this again. I am Amy Oster Young. And this is my law partner, Huntley Johnson. We are indeed honored to speak at your investiture, Luis. He did tell us that one of our mutual friends was concerned about my ability to control Huntley's vernacular, his colorful language. And I assured this mutual friend, don't worry about it. Luis had given us very strict instructions. To that end,
From Luis, as a consideration for speaking today, there'll be no swearing. "17 years ago, I was in the market for a new lawyer. Amy was with the statewide prosecutor's office when we had a very adversarial deposition. By the time it was over, I had realized that she was smarter than I am, so I offered her a job as my partner. Ironically, 3 months before meeting Amy, I had a deposition with Luis Bustamante. At that time, just as I was when I later met Amy, I was looking to hire a lawyer. Luis was smart, articulate, and overall quite presentable. Matthew, could you come up here? Until he took his coat off and exposed this. Thank you, Matthew. Needless to say, I was still looking for a lawyer for my firm after the deposition with Luis.
when Luis and I were trial partners at the statewide prosecutor's office, he had 2 very specific things that he required of me during trial. 1, to tell him he was beautiful, and 2, to tell him he was doing a great job. To that end, Luis, you are beautiful and you're going to be a great judge.
Besides his penchant for warm fuzzies, Luis has always had a knack for bringing people together to listen to his never-ending stories. Asking Luis for a short story will result in a brief history of civilization.
And Huntley has already mentioned and demonstrated Luis's fashion sense.
Luis and his sweater vests are like peanut butter and jelly. They are inseparable.
It can be 90 degrees out, and he's sporting one of his signature air-cooled sweater vests as though it's the height of winter fashion.
Luis once described himself to me as being a simple country lawyer. Do not believe that. I have seen him in trial, and he is cunning, smart, and capable of being quite ruthless. Underestimating Luis is like bleeding in front of a shark. As a judge, however, I look forward to Luis being even-handed, gentle, and wise.
As a supervisor, Luis was very hands-on. He'd say, let me show you how to get it done. And about 2 hours later, you'd realize you're not just learning about the law, but about his kid's soccer game and Luis's latest do-it-yourself project.
Speaking of his family, Luis is an amazing father and husband. His 3 kids and wife have the patience of saints. Imagine how many times they've heard his stories.
I remember the time Luis tried to briefly explain a legal point, and it turned into a full-on lecture complete with anecdotes, side stories, and a trip down memory lane.
This next part I really mean. Behind those long-winded tales is a brilliant legal mind. Luis has a way of dissecting complex cases with the precision of a surgeon. A surgeon in a sweater vest, that is.
As a judge, Luis's courtroom might be the only place where all rise is followed by settle in. This might take a while, but rest assured, justice will be served eventually.
Luis's heart is as big as his stories. He has always gone above and beyond for his colleagues, friends, and family. He is a man of integrity, dedication, and an unwavering sense of justice.
And let's not forget his incredible ability to connect with people. Luis can make a juror, a witness, or a fellow attorney feel heard and valued, a skill that will make him an outstanding judge.
So here's to Luis, a storyteller, a fashion icon in his own right, a dedicated family man, and now a judge.
Luis, may your rulings be as wise as your stories are long, and may your sweater vests always be in vogue in Levy County, regardless of the weather.
Congratulations, Judge Bustamante. We are proud and can't wait to see the great things that you will accomplish on the bench. And to everyone in Levy County, get ready for some justice with a side of storytelling. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That does cause me to pause for a moment and just say, Judge Bustamante, the Eighth Circuit has already been made famous by former one of our county judges for camouflage robes, which has instituted a dress code for all of us. So sweater vest robes, I don't think will go over any better. You will have to keep them under your robe. At this time, we will have the presentation of the nameplate by the Honorable Mitchell D. Bishop, Union County Court Judge.
I am really glad this thing was under here because we were all asking one another where it was. Luis, it's great and an honor to get to do this. You and I didn't cross paths together in the Seventh Circuit, but we have a lot of friends in common. And so it's just unique that we get to come here and serve together in this circuit. And as you know, welcome to the Regional County Judges Division of Baker, Bradford, Gilchrist, Levy, and Union. And of the six counties in this judicial circuit, 5 of them are a member of the Committee of 31 in the Conference of County Court Judges. That is 31 counties in the state of Florida that just have one single county judge. And you're part of that now. And so welcome to that. Welcome to the Conference of County Court Judges. Welcome to this circuit. And if you want to come up, I want to present you with the nameplate. It says County Court Judge Luis E. Bustamante, commissioned November 1st, 2023, presented by the Conference of County Court Judges of Florida as the circuit rep for the conference. Welcome, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Judge Bishop. At this time, we will have remarks from the Honorable Joe Boatwright, who is a district court judge with the 5th District Court of Appeal.
Thank you, Chief Judge Mosley. It is my privilege and honor to be able to speak with you for a few minutes today about my friend, Luis Bustamante. I am truly pleased to be with you on this very special occasion. It is special for the community, it is special for the court, and it is special for Luis and his family. In selecting Luis, Governor DeSantis has made a wise choice. Luis has the qualities that make him a great judge. He has the intellect, the integrity, the patience, the temperament, and above all, a passion for the law. Now, I've known Judge Bustamante for over 20 years, and in providing some remarks, I'll try not to repeat the same things that have been said. Additionally, it's very hard to encapsulate knowing someone for 20 years into a few minutes. And hopefully, though, I can leave you with a few thoughts about Judge Bustamante that'll be helpful to you. As a brief background, Judge Bustamante graduated with his bachelor's degree in economics from Florida Atlantic University, where he was awarded the Willie J. Feuerlein Award for Outstanding Achievement in International Economics. He then attended and graduated from Florida State University College of Law, where he served as an editor of the International Law and Policy Journal. After passing the bar, Judge Bustamante worked as an assistant state attorney in the Seventh Judicial Circuit, working as a prosecutor in both the misdemeanor and felony divisions for then state attorney Steve Alexander and later for John Tanner. This began an almost 30-year career as a prosecutor and a public servant. He then went to work for the Attorney General of Florida and the statewide prosecutor's office, where he rose to the position of Chief Assistant Statewide Prosecutor, where he ran the Northeast Florida Statewide Prosecution Office located in Jacksonville, Florida. From there, he became the Chief Assistant Attorney in the Seventh Judicial Circuit under State Attorney R.J. Larizza, where along with Mr. Larizza, he managed the operations of the State Attorney's Office, overseeing the day-to-day operations in the many offices, which included Putnam, St. Johns, Flagler, and Volusia counties. And as Mr. Cervone discussed, he then managed the State Attorney's Office in Bradford County in the 8th Judicial Circuit. Over this 30-year period, Judge Bustamante has prosecuted all types of cases, including some of the most serious types of crimes, which included homicide cases, cases where the death penalty was sought, sexual battery cases, and many other types of violent crimes. In addition, he handled personally or oversaw what are considered some of the most complex types of cases within our legal system. Some of those included financial crimes, RICO, computer fraud, securities fraud, public corruption, along with some of the most complex and serious drug cases. During this time, he successfully tried cases to finality in hundreds of jury and non-jury trials, while managing hundreds of staff and attorneys during this career and mentoring numerous attorneys, many who are now judges, including myself. During this time, he was actively involved in providing training for prosecutors and local law enforcement throughout the state. He received numerous awards for his government service during this time. And I say all of this to tell you how incredibly talented Judge Bustamante is. And prior to his appointment, his reputation as an outstanding prosecutor and manager was second to none. So in the governor making his choice, you have been provided a very experienced, a very successful, and talented lawyer and individual to be your county court judge. And although I'm sure his appointment is a great loss to the state attorney's office here in the circuit, however, their loss is a great gain to the court system and your community. Now, if I could tell you one thing, at least for the members of the community that are here, I come from a very small county, Putnam County, very much like yours. Small counties, as I know, have unique advantages, but also disadvantages and challenges that I understand very well. I have spent most of my life living, working, and raising a family in a rural county and spending nearly 20 years there working with local government agencies in one form or another. And I understand the dynamics that come with living and working in a rural county. And I can tell you that Judge Bustamante understands this as well. He seems to be a perfect fit for this county. He has spent his career working in small counties. At one time in my career, I was hired to manage the state attorney's office in Putnam County, and I worked directly for Judge Bustamante. He made it a point and to pay special attention to our county, even though our circuit's headquarters were over an hour away in Daytona, even though we had the smallest population, the smallest number of voters. He was actively involved in our office. He would meet with staff and attorneys regularly. He would meet with local elected officials. He would meet with local law enforcement and community leaders. And he embraced our community and he understood the challenges that a small county and its court system faced. The community knew this as well. They appreciated this, and he is highly respected in our county today because of his efforts. And that is a great blessing for you that he has this experience. Not only are you getting an incredibly talented individual, but one who I think you will find out truly understands the great things about living in a small rural county, but also the challenges as well, and he will embrace those challenges. Finally, as talented as Luis is, and having a very successful career, I have always known him to be a man of character. In particular, I have always found him to be very humble. Now, you will find he's confident, but I've never found him to be prideful or arrogant in his dealings with me or any of our staff members when I work for him or any members of the community. And I don't think being a judge will change that. Now, can I say as being a judge, Being humble, though, is not only how we treat people. It's not getting black robe syndrome, as we like to call it, but it's how you view your role as a judge. You don't see yourself as bigger than the law, but rather one who adheres to the law. And I have talked to Judge Bustamante many times about this. And I know that he firmly believes that a judge should be fair, impartial, and follow the law. In this, he understands that as judges, we have a limited role as a member of one of the three branches of government. He believes that the constitutional foundation of separation of powers is fundamental to a judge's philosophy. In that, our job is to exercise judicial restraint. In doing that, we understand that we are not to usurp legislative authority, but rather our job is to interpret the law and apply the law as it is written. In doing this, by following the law, judges may not always arise at the decision that they or the litigants think is the most equitable, or come to a result that they would like to see, but rather their decision will be based on what the law dictates. As one of Judge Bustamante's favorite judges, Justice Scalia, aptly said, if you're going to be a good and faithful judge, you have to resign yourself to the fact that you're not always going to like the conclusions you reach. If you like them all the time, you're probably doing something wrong. I know that Judge Bustamante understands this full well. He will be humble and faithful in following the law and upholding his constitutional duty. Luis, as I have told you previously, I'm thrilled for you and your family. This appointment is well deserved. God bless you and congratulations once again, sir.
At this time, we're going to be having the presentation of the robe of office, which will be presented by Monica Perez McMillan, who is the president of the 8th Judicial Bar Association. And she will be then helped when we get to the enrobing by Mina Miranda and Marshall Bustamante.
May it please the court. Distinguished judges, members of Judge Bustamante's family, distinguished guests and friends, as president of the 8th Judicial Circuit Bar Association, it is my great privilege to be here today as we formally invest Judge Luis Bustamante into the judiciary of the 8th Judicial Circuit. Investiture is a word rooted in Latin that literally means enrobe. In its original meaning, an investiture was the robing of a new office holder in garments that symbolized power. Today, it is a ceremonial custom whereby individuals are invested with office. In this case, it is the office of judge and all of the authority, duties, and responsibilities that come with this position. Keeping with this custom, judges are presented with a black robe at their investiture. The judicial robe is one of the most commonly recognized symbols of the legal system. The black robe worn by judges symbolize, 1, the responsibility to uphold the Constitution and rule of law. 2, their honor and authority. And 3, a judge's neutrality and humility as servants of the people. Our judges and courts each day strive to ensure the fair, impartial, and independent administration of justice so that all citizens and attorneys are treated with respect, dignity, and fairness. We entrust them to make some of the most important decisions that protect our liberties and our fundamental and sacred rights as set forth in the Bill of Rights. Judges ensure that everyone receives a fair trial and a fair shake at the applicable laws. I am proud to be an attorney within the 8th Judicial Circuit. Throughout the state of Florida, the 8th Judicial Circuit is known for its professionalism, and that is in large part because of our esteemed judiciary that sits before you today. I am confident that Judge Bustamante will continue to uphold this standard, and I am further confident that Judge Bustamante will perform the duties of the office with honor, professionalism, neutrality, humility, and virtue. Congratulations to you, Judge Bustamante, on your elevation to the county bench. On behalf of the local bar, it is my honor and privilege to welcome you and present you with this black robe, which we are certain that you will wear with great distinction. We wish you the best.
So if we could have Mina, Miranda, and Marshall Bustamante, please assist with the enrobing. And I may have misspoke, Luis. Apparently, judges love Latin phrases. There may be some legal precedent then to vest and robe. So you might be on some better ground.
It's like a glove.
At this time, we will have a welcome to the bench by the Honorable Laura Lee P. Brannon, Baker County Court Judge.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, thank you for that warm welcome. It is wonderful to be here in Levy County celebrating your new judge. Chief Judge Mosley, my fellow judges, elected officials, members of the bar, family of Judge Bustamante, may it please the court. Judge Bustamante, I am honored by your invitation to give these remarks welcoming you to the bench. Having been welcomed to the bench myself nearly or only 2 years ago, I was pleasantly surprised by your request and what a privilege it is to be here sharing in this time with you. In being the last speaker who stands before you and between you and Judge Bustamante's remarks and the reception that follows, I did seek guidance on the length of time for my welcome. I'm not going to share the exact timing with you because I don't want people looking at the clock like judges sometimes do when an attorney says that their voir dire examination will take 45 minutes and they start pushing at an hour. In fact, at my own investiture, Judge Kolar reminisced of the welcome to the bench that the late Judge Browning gave at his. He said that Judge Browning did a phenomenal job, but his remarks were quite lengthy and took some time. Judge Kolar explained that he was seated where you are, Judge Bustamante, in a different courthouse, and there was a couple behind him in that first pew. While Judge Browning was speaking, the lady leaned over to her significant other and asked, "What comes after Judge Browning's remarks?" And the gentleman leaned back and said, "Tomorrow." I promise you folks, I will be done before tomorrow. Judge Bustamante, this is an important day for you, for your family, but it is also an important day for Levy County. As I like to say in my opening instructions for county criminal, we will work efficiently, but we will take the time necessary for every case, including the one that you are here for. The matter today that you are here for is that of investing Judge Bustamante as Levy County Judge. And I recognize and appreciate that you have all taken time from your busy schedules to be here with us. I believe we have been efficient, but will continue to take the time necessary for this ceremony. Judge Bustamante, I have known you now for several years, and I've enjoyed developing a closer relationship with you as you have joined the bench. The first observation that I always made in years past, and still make of you today, is that you are always smiling. And the record shall reflect that Judge Bustamante was smiling even before I said that he is always smiling. Those who know him or even just know of him would agree that Judge Bustamante has a cheerful disposition. A former colleague of his described, quote, "He's always in a good mood. Regardless of what else is going on, he is cheery and quick with a good morning and a joke. He can find something to laugh about in even the most frustrating situations," end quote. A natural, cheerful disposition will be very useful in this role Judge Bustamante has undertaken. As a new judge, he may find himself asking himself at times in civil cases, what is a rent determination hearing and why am I setting one? Don't the landlord and tenant know what the rent agreed upon is? This 3-day notice in the eviction is defective. If the tenant doesn't raise the issue, should I? Why is there a difference in the amounts listed in the complaint versus the affidavits versus the proposed final judgment? And what do I do about this $5 difference between the affidavit and the proposed order? The testimony appears clear. This defendant meets the criteria on a claim of exemption, but plaintiff counsel hasn't conceded the point. Did I miss something? And finally, what is the proper use of nunc pro tunc? I wouldn't have posed these questions, Judge, without having an answer ready. And I've graciously volunteered Judge Tatum Davis of Bradford County to meet with you after the ceremony and tell you what you should do in these instances. As for the criminal docket, even with your years of experience and practice level, you will have questions. And that is because your role has changed. However, the knowledge and skills you have acquired as both a criminal and civil practitioner will be invaluable and will serve you and this court system well as you transition from the bar to the bench, handling the myriad of matters that come before a county judge. Now, as part of this ceremony, Judge Bustamante came forward, placed his hand on the Bible, and was administered the oath of county judge. The significance of this oath that Judge Bustamante just took very purposefully cannot be understated. It is the core of what we believe and the standard to which we are held. We here have each taken this oath as county, circuit, or appellate judges, and we hold each other accountable to it. Judge Bustamante, you very cheerfully declared your intent to uphold the Constitution and government of the United States and of the state of Florida, as well to well and faithfully perform the duties of Levy County Judge. You did this before family, friends, colleagues, and your community. You must take this oath to heart and be bound by it. Your duty and obligation to the fair and impartial administration of justice is both solemn and paramount. Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 17 states, quote, "You shall not show partiality in judging. You shall hear the small as well as the great. You shall not be afraid in any man's presence, for the judgment is God's. The case that is too hard for you, bring to me, and I will hear it." End quote. When you are on the bench and in your chambers, in hearings and preparing for dockets, and sorting through the facts, arguments, and applicable law, remember your oath. Be faithful to it. Remember, too, that while the governor granted his approval and a commission as county judge, the ultimate commission came from a much higher authority, and should you be in doubt or difficulty, recall that you have been instructed to bring it before your God, and he will give you his guidance. I encourage you also to look just outside your door when seeking earthly guidance. Your judicial assistant's knowledge is a resource you should employ. In her experience, she has already made the following assessment of Judge Bustamante: that he is very patient and listens to both sides. He is always willing to help with whatever needs to be done, and that he is wonderful to work for. Mandy has been impressed with Judge Bustamante's due diligence in preparing for court and making decisions in cases. She has also observed that Judge Bustamante, like his beloved predecessor, is selfless and a very giving person. We should take note that the quality of judges here in Levy County, past and present, is one to be acknowledged and celebrated. The people of Levy County will soon learn of these qualities, as well as others, that you are a man of integrity, intelligence, and quick wit. In whatever circumstance brings them into this courthouse, today, tomorrow, and hopefully for a long time to come, the people who appear before you will come to know that they will be heard, their position considered, and that the law will apply to them just as it will to their neighbor, whether favorably or unfavorably. They will benefit from your intellect, your common sense, your humility, and your professionalism. They will benefit from your firm belief in public service. Your consistent answer to that call is proof apparent that you live to serve your family, your community, and the court system. I encourage, Judge, that you serve your community and court system off the bench as enthusiastically as you serve on it. I have found that observing Canon 4 of the judicial canons is one of the most rewarding aspects of this position. Section B, quote, "A judge is encouraged to speak, write, lecture, teach, and participate in other quasi-judicial activities concerning the law, the legal system, the administration of justice, and the role of the judiciary as an independent branch within our system of government," end quote. I believe that you will take great pleasure in speaking to students at schools or on courthouse field trips. Don't just speak though. Ask for the parents, teachers, and students to participate in mock court exercises. They always love that, especially getting to be the judge. Let the students hold and tap, not bang, your gavel on the sound block. There might be a student out there like me who knows they want to be a lawyer, but it wasn't until law school that I can remember even meeting a judge. As county judge, you have a unique opportunity to impact the youth of Levy County. Start your own Read with the Judge program and invite teachers to have you in their classroom. Build your own Be the Judge booth and bring it to the county fair and other festivals and events where kids can put on a robe and hold your gavel. I wouldn't encourage you to do these things if I were not doing them myself. And I do hope that you will find it gives you an opportunity to interact with the community in a less formal and intimidating setting. Your continued study of the law and procedure is necessary, and the people who find themselves in court will benefit from your diligent efforts to acquire knowledge. Now, you already possess a wealth of knowledge that you bring to the bench, having served and been exposed to multiple facets of the criminal and civil justice systems. However, as a wise judge once advised, quote, "To be the kind of judge that Levy County expects, you need to go beyond knowledge and seek wisdom. Wisdom is not acquired through the law books or study. You have to seek her as she reveals herself to those who seek her," end quote. Proverbs chapter 4, verses 5-7 state, quote, "Get wisdom, get understanding, forget it not. Forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee. Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding," end quote. Judge Bustamante, with wisdom and understanding, you will make decisions, rulings, and exercise discretion to settle disputes and resolve issues between parties, providing what you to believe a just solution in accord with the law. Despite your best efforts, however, your rulings and decisions may not always be heralded as a brilliant or informed interpretation of the law. Not every party to a case will like or agree with the final outcome. Now, while you may not be able to control a party's feelings or perspective on how the case ended for them, you are able to control the manner and phrasing in which you render your decision and part ways with the litigants. While oftentimes a pro se litigant wishes to prevail in their argument, it is the act of being heard and having their day in court, including the manner in which the judge treated them, that will resonate long after a judgment or a sentence is pronounced. Judge Bustamante, you have joined an esteemed group here in the Eighth Circuit, and you will find that your colleagues, not just those on the bench, but all of the Eighth Circuit staff, are ready, able, and willing to help you do your job in service to this county and to the law. Ask questions of us, seek advice, and accept guidance. Although you are a solo county judge, you do not have to feel as though you are always solo. We are here for you. We desire that you administer faithfully to the law and that you are confident in your pronouncements. If that means reaching out in preparation for court or during a hearing that is going sideways, take a moment and phone a friend. I encourage you also to reach out within your county, to the clerk and to the sheriff, as well as to the police chiefs. As you evaluate and update processes and forms, they are your built-in partners as you work to ensure a smooth process for all that come into contact with the court system, whether they work in it or come before it. Your natural skill in nurturing relationships such as these will be vital as you lead county court. In closing, I would like to share two final pieces of advice. One that Judge Kolaw passed on to me and was given to him by the late Judge Browning, and the other directly from me, having peeked in on Levy County Court within the first week or two that you were on the bench. The advice with lineage is Micah chapter 6, verse 8, paraphrasing. "What doth the Lord require of you, but to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. Lastly, we all get tongue-tied sometimes in adjusting to the position, but remember always, you are not the clerk. You are the judge. On behalf of Chief Judge Mosley and the entire judiciary of the Eighth Circuit, congratulations, Judge Bustamante. May I invite you to join me at the bench.
Right, please sit. Wow. I am truly touched and moved by everybody who's here and by having my family here. This is, I was a prosecutor for 29 years, 11 months. I don't think I was going to make it 30 when the governor called and said, would you take this position? And I said, of course. I want to thank all the speakers. I know you all spent time thinking about and perfecting your the kind words, and it does not go unnoticed by me that this is an awesome responsibility for me, but also the fact that you all did such a great job, including you, Huntley, in making the speech on my behalf. I want to thank Governor DeSantis and Ryan Newman and Meredith Pardo, who, after interviewing all very qualified applicants, and somehow they decided I was the best one in there. And I'm humbled by that. The judges of the Eighth Circuit, you are my brothers and my sisters. You have helped me along this process. And although I might not have called each and every single one of you, I've seen your recordings and things that you do, and I've learned so much from everybody. My mentor judges, the Thomases, Ferraro, the Judge Davis, and Brennan. You guys are so generous with your time. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for leading me through this process and learning how to become a good judge. I want to thank, first of all, my family. I could not have done this without my wife. You're the love of my life. We've been married for 27 years, and I said I was not going to break down, but I probably will. She encourages me. She always believes in me. And I could have not asked for a better spouse. And this is for you. To my kids, you guys made parenting seem easy. You guys have not always been perfect, but you always strive for your best. Thank you so much for being my children. And I know that we have one in California who cannot make it, and I miss my oldest child awfully too. And he is an amazing adult doing his own thing, but and he'll be here. I'll see him later on. To the visiting judges that come from the 7th Circuit, from the 13th Circuit, from the 6th Circuit, thank you. Some of you I have known only for a short period of time. Others I've known for a lifetime. Judge Anthony, you remember when Mina and I were dating, and one of the things that she said, you're gonna make some pretty babies. You were right. To my mother and father, thank you so much for teaching me about God, teaching me about family, teaching me about doing the right thing and being fair to people, listening to people. I have taken that throughout my life and followed what you're advising. I love you very much. Los quiero mucho. To my brothers and my aunts and uncles and my family, my cousins, thank you for being here. You guys have come all the way from South Florida, from other places, and it seems like Levy County is another country. It isn't. It is a much better part of the state, I can tell you that. Thank you for making time. I have Colleen and Tim. You guys are my lifelong friends. Terry and Mike, you guys also my lifelong friends. I thought that Mike was the smartest person that I ever met until I met his wife. To all the people that I have worked with, either with the state attorney's office and Mr. Kramer, thank you so much for being here. And of course, Mr. Cervone, you guys gave me an opportunity to come to this wonderful place. I have prosecuted cases and been involved off and on when I worked for the Attorney General's office with Levy County since the 90s. And when Mr. Cervone gave me the opportunity to come back to the 8th after I left the 7th I worked in private practice for maybe about 3 months. And I ran into him at a party in which Mr. Huntley Johnson was the host. And he came to me and he said, would you like to come back to prosecution? And I said, what are you talking about? I just left prosecution and I was in private practice for 3 months. He says, I will give you a $40,000 pay cut. You can start working in Stark, Florida. And I said, when can I start? And I think that's Judge Boatwright aptly said, small counties are the ones that I've always enjoyed practicing in. It's been a pleasure being in the 8th Circuit, but also coming to this county, which I consider my home. One of the things that my parents have always taught me is to bring others up. That one of the things that you do is do not tear people down, bring them up as much as you can. And I hope that as all the years that I worked as a prosecutor over in Stark, and I see all of my Stark and Bradford County peeps back there, thank you so much for coming. That hopefully I try to do that the best that I could. My parents and my wife also taught me about my strong work ethic. That I'm here to serve, not to be served. And that's something that I believe strongly, just as long as I believe in God. I think that having a strong sense of a creator and somebody who your decisions are guided by is a very strong part of who I am. Be tough, but be fair. Be compassionate and listen. That's what my parents always taught me. As I was applying for this position and the JNC, the committee, put my name forth to the governor's office, I decided I want to go ahead and read up on Levy County. I've been to Levy County many times, but as with everything, I never really followed did any research into it until I think I needed to. One of the things that I found out about is that Bronson is named after a judge. He was a judge back in the 1850s when Florida had just become a state. And this town that we're in was actually called Chunky Pond. It's the Native Americans used to call it Chuckahaha, and I guess the locals call it Chunky Pond. When Judge Bronson died back in the 1850s and the county seat was moved from Levyville to Bronson or to Chunky Pond, they renamed it Bronson, and I think that's a good thing. Anytime that you name, I don't know if I would have applied if the place was called Chunky Pond, Florida. But one of the things that I always cherish about a place like this is that it has a rich history. Another thing that I found out about is that this courthouse was modeled after the courthouse in Stark. Now the Stark courthouse, they moved into some god-awful design now. So that the other one isn't there. Oh no, I'm sorry. I do love Stark, by the way. As we were going through, my wife and I, after the governor said, you're one of the finalists, we came over to Levy County looking for a place. And one of the things, we started driving all over the place. And as Bill said, there are so many different areas. This is Cedar Key, beautiful place. And Chief Jenkins, thank you for being here. Williston and Chiefland and Fanny Springs. As we're driving all these places, trying to pick a place and where we're going to be settled down, I started to tell my wife, this place feels like home. And she says, the reason it feels like home, because it is home. I am home. I want to thank the people of Levy County for welcoming me to this wonderful place. And I promise to you, I'm going to try the best that I can to be the best judge. And I'm going to work every single day to earn your trust. Thank you so much for coming to this.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know Judge Bustamante would like for me to remind everyone there is a reception that is following this, that you're all welcome to come. We can continue enjoying each other's company and continue to say other great things about Judge Bustamante that all of us would, I know, like to share with the people here. The best thing I can say about all that's been said, having had Luis in my courtroom as judge, as a prosecutor, many times, it's just amen to those statements. And with that, our ceremonial session of the 8th Judicial Circuit is now adjourned. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.